Welcome to today's deep dive. I'm your host, and today we are looking at something pretty wild.
Yeah, and as your resident tech expert, I'm thrilled to be here to tear into this one. It's a fun topic.
Right. So imagine trying to pivot a king-size mattress up a narrow spiral staircase. Now imagine that mattress is actually a delicate, perfectly flat projection screen.
Which sounds like an absolute nightmare, honestly.
Exactly. If you've ever wondered how these mega screens end up inside corporate boardrooms or custom home theaters without someone having to literally demolish a wall, well, this breakdown is custom tailored for you. We're looking at the spec sheet for the Draper 254-2222 profile plus fixed frame screen. So, okay, let's unpack this.
Because it really is a massive logistical puzzle. We see these pristine wall-sized displays and just kind of assume a crew marched them through the front door.
Yeah, but this specific Draper screen is, 133 inches diagonally? That's about 65 by 116 inches, so well over 9 feet wide.
Right, which brings us back to your mattress problem.
Yeah.
You physically cannot turn a rigid 9-foot rectangle through a standard doorway.
You take out a door frame, for sure. So how does this unassembled design actually solve that?
Well, the delivery mechanism here is completely rethought. It ships entirely unassembled, so you aren't maneuvering a giant screen at all.
You're just carrying parts.
Exactly. You carry these lightweight, extruded aluminum frame pieces and a rolled-up viewing surface into the room. It totally bypasses the stairs and elevators problem.
Okay, I get the frame part, but if you're unrolling the actual viewing surface and putting it together on site, how on earth does it not end up, full of wrinkles? I mean, I can't even put a screen protector on my phone without ruining it.
Oh, yeah, it's a really common fear.
Yeah.
But they use a sliding hook and loop system. Instead of pulling the fabric across and snapping it into a fixed place.
Which would pull it unevenly, right?
Right, exactly. So the hooks slide along the frame. And what's fascinating here is that it acts exactly like the springs on a trampoline.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, as you attach the screen, the sliding hooks distribute the tension perfectly evenly across the entire surface. It basically pulls itself perfectly flat.
That makes total sense. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. We usually think of projection screens as needing those thick black velvet borders, to frame the picture.
The classic movie theater look.
Exactly. But this spec sheet mentions a zero edge, or a mullion-less option. Does a mullion-less design make it look more like a floating window than a TV?
Oh, absolutely. A mullion is just that vertical dividing bar you'd normally see in Windows or multi-screen setups.
Yeah.
By going mullionless and using these extruded aluminum baffles.
Wait, baffles?
Yeah, they're essentially specially shaped metal rails that grip the fabric and wrap it tightly around to the back of the structure. It completely hides the frame.
But wait, if there's no black border, won't the image just look washed out or, bleed onto the wall?
Well, that is where the screen material itself comes in.
Right.
This model utilizes a specific gray XH600V surface with a 0.6 gain.
Gain. Okay, you're going to have to explain that one to me.
Sure. So gain is just a measure of how much light the screen reflects back at you. A standard white screen might have a gain of 1.0.
Reflecting everything back.
Right. So a 0.6 gain means this gray screen is deliberately absorbing about 40% of the light hitting it.
Why would you want your expensive screen to just eat the light, though?
Because it absorbs the ambient light in the room.
Mm-hmm.
If your room is in pitch black, ambient light washes out a standard white screen.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, the 0.6 gain gray surface absorbs that excess light, which keeps the dark parts of the movie looking deep and, inky black instead of a milky washed out gray.
Ah, okay. And the specs also mention optional LED bias lighting. I'm guessing that plays into the contrast, too.
It does. Placing an LED glow behind a zero-edge screen creates this halo effect.
Yeah.
It drastically reduces eye strain in a dark room.
Makes sense.
But it also creates an optical illusion, tricking your brain into perceiving the blacks on the screen as even darker. And since there are no borders to get in the way, you can tile multiple screens perfectly side by side with zero separation.
That is wild. You are basically building a custom glowing architectural feature from scratch right in your living room.
Pretty much, yeah.
Which probably explains the price tag. The current discounted price on this Draper screen is $3,656.
Not cheap.
Not at all. It ships with standard wall brackets, though you do have to request special ones if you want it flown or suspended from the ceiling. But the part that really caught my eye wasn't the price.
The return policy.
Yes. This is a special order that is strictly non-cancelable, non-returnable, and non-refundable. So what does this all mean? Why such an unforgiving policy for a reputable company with over 10,000 positive reviews?
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture, it really comes down to the hyper-specialized nature of what you are actually buying here. You aren't just grabbing a mass-produced TV off a warehouse pallet.
Right, you can't just toss it in the back of your car.
Exactly. You are commissioning precise architectural dimensions, specific surface tensioning hardware, and an exact chemical coating for that zero point 0.6 light gain.
It's totally bespoke.
It is. Once they cut and tension that fabric for your specific room specs, it can't just go back in a box for the next buyer. You can't just drop a custom-built 133-inch architectural feature off at the post office.
So installing a massive display like this is far more than just picking up a big screen. I mean, it's a permanent, uncompromising architectural commitment.
It absolutely demands exact measurements and absolute certainty before you ever click buy.
Which leaves me with one final thought for you. The source mentioned that the zero-edge design allows adjacent screens to come together with absolutely zero separation.
Seamlessly.
Right. So if modular screens can seamlessly link together like this to create a flawless, continuous illusion, how long until we stop hanging individual screens entirely and just start manufacturing our entire walls as the viewing surface?
It's a crazy thought.
Just something to mull over the next time you find yourself trying to wedge a piece of furniture up the stairs.